Stand on being with you. I have a terrible migraine again. Well, would you like a cup of tea?
Whenever his wife tried to be intimate, the husband always pushed her away. But she couldn't completely blame him. He had physical issues. Faced with her subtle hints, he only felt nervous. As she moved closer, he panicked, blew out the candle, and pretended to be asleep. Feeling rejected, Teresa stared at his back, her heart heavy. She didn't know how much longer she could live like this. One day, her husband didn't come home on time, which made the family a little worried. Just as they mentioned it, his voice came from outside. He had brought a guest home. The man was named Paul, the same one who had helped him get a job. Paul's cheerful personality quickly won over Teresa's mother-in-law. Only Teresa still felt like an outsider. Because she had been bullied since childhood, she never felt like she belonged in this family. Most guests barely noticed her presence, and she had long gotten used to that. So when Paul greeted her, Teresa was genuinely surprised. This polite and refined man strangely drew her in. Paul quickly had everyone laughing and chatting. He shared that he used to be a figure drawing artist. But one day, his father walked in while he was with a live model. Startled, his father stumbled backward and fell down the stairs. Though he wasn't seriously hurt, he cut off Paul's allowance after that. As Paul told the story, Teresa accidentally met his gaze. Her heart began to race. She quickly stood up in a panic. Her husband, watching this, thought she was being inappropriate. Camille's physical weakness leaves Teresa feeling hopeless. After only a brief attempt, Camille starts coughing non-stop. From that moment on, Teresa and Paul become even bolder. They both fully indulge in this forbidden relationship, but secret affairs are always dangerous. When her mother-in-law suddenly walks in, Teresa forces herself to stay calm. The older woman assumes Teresa isn't feeling well and kindly offers her a massage. Luckily, she notices nothing unusual, and the secret remains hidden. Just as Teresa is lost in the thrill of this relationship, her husband brings unexpected news. Camille wants to move the whole family back to the countryside. Perhaps sensing Teresa growing distant, he believes a change of place can save their marriage. But for Teresa, leaving is unthinkable. The man she truly loves is right here. Her strange behavior only makes Camille more uneasy. Even without knowing the truth, he's convinced that returning to the countryside will fix everything. Ignoring Teresa's objections, he insists on leaving. Teresa immediately goes to Paul to discuss what to do next. Paul doesn't want to lose her either. A dangerous idea slowly forms in his mind, but Teresa hesitates. She knows this plan could bring terrible consequences. Paul, however, claims he has a solution.
People have accidents every day, and sometimes they just don't come back. That's all.
His words tempt her, yet no matter what, Camille is still her cousin. So the question remains, will Teresa really destroy an innocent man just to be with Paul?
You lied. I don't understand. You lied! That you could change me and make me Italian, you did it! Now I gotta do fucking stand up.
Jeremy, I didn't want
You did. Yes, you did.
Jeremy, I can fix this.
Now, you can't fix this shit.
There is one more tool in my arsenal we haven't used. It's very expensive.
The surgeon was terrified and hurried to calm Jack down. He claimed he still had a top-secret technique that could guarantee turning Jack into a handsome man. Since things had already gone this far, Jack decided to trust the doctor one last time. The doctor then took Jack to a luxury 5-star hotel and booked an expensive suite.
Take off your clothes and lay naked on a bed.
What the fuck? No.
At the same time, a person wearing a puffer jacket arrived at the hotel, presumably the woman the doctor had mentioned. The doctor opened the door and handed her an envelope filled with a generous payment.
Where is he?
Bedroom.
After she entered the room, the doctor left. Once inside, the woman took off her clothes, revealing a strikingly seductive figure.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm Claire Rox. You're in good hands.
Soon after, the two engaged in activities not suitable for children. When Jack woke up, his head was drenched in sweat, and Claire was already gone. His body felt extremely unwell, and he could barely stand. After resting for a while, he made his way to the sofa and called room service. He asked the front desk to send him some painkillers, water, and a thermometer. A short time later, Jack had already drunk a large amount of water, yet he was still unbearably thirsty. He placed the thermometer on his forehead and saw that his temperature was dangerously high. Moments later, his body began to convulse. After a wave of intense spasms, he noticed his fingers starting to grow longer, his veins bulged, and his spine began to contract. Soon after, his teeth started falling out. The entire process was deeply disturbing. Before long, the floor was covered in scalding liquid, and a golden cocoon appeared. Jack went into the bathroom and saw himself in the mirror. He could not believe what he was seeing. He had truly become handsome. The woman frantically drank water and struck back when an employee tried to stop her. One of the customers was a police officer who considered drawing his gun, but with too many people in the restaurant, he chose not to escalate the situation. An elderly woman inside the restaurant, however, appeared completely calm. At that moment, the woman spotted a toilet and rushed toward it. When she splashed water on her face, white steam instantly rose from her skin, a clear sign that her body temperature was dangerously high. As soon as she exited the restroom, the police officer from earlier raised his weapon and aimed at her. The woman seemed almost monstrous, showing no sign of pain at all. When she violently attacked the officer, sirens could be heard outside. She stepped out of the restaurant and realized she was surrounded by police. Suddenly, her eyes began to bleed. The next second, her body exploded. The incident immediately alerted the FBI, and agents Cooper and Jordan were assigned to investigate. The violent event left 5 people dead and 7 injured. Superiors concluded that it was not a terrorist attack, and that this was not the first case of its kind. 6 months earlier in London, another model had suddenly exploded and died inside her car. 5 months ago, a similar fatal explosion occurred in Berlin, Germany, though no video footage existed in that case.
Why, she's stopping for a water break. Witnesses stated she kept asking for it. Was desperate to quench her thirst. This is where she detonates.
A little hard on the tasers, wouldn't you say?
None were deployed.
The agents arrived at the morgue and found that the woman's body was completely charred. However, there were no traces of any chemical substances in her system. Even after 2 days, the model's body temperature was still as high as 175 degrees. 2 bone saws had already melted during the examination. As the agents stood there in confusion, the medical examiner presented a test report. She suspected it was a brand new, previously unknown virus.
They show you her big, naughty tip. Well, if you won't see my milkers, then, give me some tokens. Baby needs $20. Look, sorry, cheap ass. I just got offered $75 for a private.
The man buys a gadget online, hoping it will change his life. Instead, it turns out to be useless, with nothing but strange side effects. Angry, he leaves a bad review, calling the seller unreliable. The seller replies calmly, saying women don't care about that thing at all. What they really want is something more. Trust me, the message says. You know what I mean, but the man doesn't know, so he asks for clarification. The next day, he makes a phone call. Following the instructions, he heads to a cosmetic surgery clinic. On the bus, he notices a beautiful woman. He turns and tries to greet her. She doesn't even look at him. He knows exactly why. It's because of his face. That moment hardens his resolve to change himself.